On one hand, I'm celebrating this huge Xbox milestone. On the other, it's making me question some of their recent decisions. What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we talk everything going on with Xbox. The latest news, rumors, I talk games that they're working on, that I'm playing through. I talk about pretty much anything I want as long as it's related to Xbox in some way. Now, you've probably heard this from a million different people in a million different ways, but earlier this year, Xbox, they made headlines for deciding to port former exclusives over to other consoles. Games like Grounded, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and Pentiment. I talked about it a bunch. Again, you've probably heard about it, but if you have not, there you go, you just did. Now, I don't know how well sales-wise that Pentiment or Hi-Fi Rush is doing over on PlayStation 5, but there seems to be a lot of excitement about the PlayStation version of Sea of Thieves. At one point, it was the most pre-ordered game on PlayStation, even ahead of games like Rise of the Ronin. And with only a few days away from the launch of Sea of Thieves on PlayStation 5, that's April 30th, Rare is celebrating a huge milestone for the game. In a message on the Sea of Thieves website, the game's executive producer shared a message thanking his team and the community for hitting 40 million players over the past 6 years. He said 40 million across Xbox, Windows, Steam is an amazing milestone to be talked about, and of course it wouldn't have happened without you, our brilliant, positive, and welcoming community who continue to surprise and impress us with your creativity and antics on the waves. That said, I also want to take this opportunity to offer heartfelt thanks to the team, who've worked hard to deliver over 100 free updates since launch, and have plenty more excitement and innovation on the horizon. Season 12 is almost here, and the new additions like Throwing Knives and the Bone Caller are going to transform our sandbox yet again. Now, 40 million players reached over 6 years, that's an impressive number, man. And no, this does not mean that there are currently 40 million people playing Sea of Thieves right now. According to Steam charts, and that's that's only one segment of where you can play Sea of Thieves, the average player count, concurrent player count, is somewhere like 9,000. And no, that of course does not mean that 40 million copies of this game has been sold. I'm sure some people bought Sea of Thieves, whether it's on Steam, Windows, Xbox, but I'm sure a bunch more people played it through Game Pass. Maybe they got a free code out of a can of Mountain Dew or something, I don't know. But still, 40 million players reached over 6 years. That's pretty impressive, man. Like, if I got 40 million views on my YouTube channel, I wouldn't even know what the hell I would do. And in a weird twist of events, Rare has the opportunity to further grow that player base. Now, there were a lot of questions when Microsoft acquired Rare and made them work on this. People were saying that Microsoft ruined Rare, and now they're like, well, actually, no. We got 40 million frickin' people to play our game, and that's awesome. It also has me questioning things a little bit, because it's like, okay, this game was clearly, to a certain degree, successful. And yet, despite that, Microsoft is still like, we need to make a PlayStation 5 version. Now, on the Xbox official podcast that featured Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, they said that they were porting over these games because they had reached saturation on Xbox, which I am inclined to believe. Chances are, if you have an Xbox, if you wanted to play games like Pentiment, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, chances are you have already played them. Especially Sea of Thieves, that game is 6 years old. But at the time when they said that, I kind of assumed that they were porting over games that, for lack of a better phrase or word, didn't sell very well. And while the games that they ported over are good in their own right, they have small dedicated fan bases versus widespread appeal. So when they were like, yeah, we're shipping over Pentiment, I was like, totally makes sense. I'm sure that game, I don't even know if it broke like 1 million copies sold, probably less than that. Something like Grounded, which is multiplayer, so it has a little bit more appeal, but I'm sure it didn't sell like gangbusters, right? But Sea of Thieves, a game that reached 40 million players over its lifespan, is still being ported over. And I bring this up because during that Xbox official podcast episode, they were like, listen, just because we're bringing these 4 games over to other consoles doesn't mean that we're going to do it for all of our games.
It's beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not.
But Sea of Thieves hitting this milestone while simultaneously being prepared for a PlayStation 5 launch shows that that definition that they have laid out, games that have reached saturation on Xbox, can be applied to various degrees of games. It can be applied to small games that didn't sell very well, like Pentiment, and it can be applied to games like Sea of Thieves that have reached 40 million players. Oh, our data says that Starfield has reached saturation on Xbox. Not a lot of people are buying it on the Xbox platform or engaging with it anymore. So let's go ahead and release it on PlayStation. And guys, I'm just trying to set the expectation for y'all. If they're doing it for these games, they can most certainly do it for everything else. Y'all know I try to keep it positive. I like Xbox. I like what they're trying to do. But I also I'm trying to set the expectations, okay? So if one day they come out and they're like, we're announcing a PlayStation 5 version of Starfield, maybe even something crazy like Halo Gears, I'm just trying to like prep you for that moment because it may come. Overall though, I don't mind Sea of Thieves being ported over to the PlayStation 5. I think that the idea of veteran Sea of Thieves players on Xbox and on PC just absolutely working and just ruining the lives of these new PlayStation 5 players is hilarious to me because we know it's going to be crossplay, and that's what's actually cool about this. It's like, okay, Sea of Thieves getting a PlayStation 5 port, whatever. Oh, but it's going to be crossplay? Like, crossplay is cool. I will take that to my grave. It is annoying when a game does not have crossplay. Like with Fallout 76, there's no crossplay between PC and Xbox, even though Xbox owns the damn game, and it annoys me to death. While we're on the topic of console ports of otherwise exclusive platform games, I saw this interview that Holly Longdale, the vice president of Blizzard, just did with Video Games Chronicle. And the thing that stuck out to me was this thing that she said about a possible Xbox console version of World of Warcraft. Now, when I first saw the headline for this article, I was like, oh, that'd be cool, man. World of Warcraft on Xbox consoles. Not that I'm gonna play it at all, but back in the day, that was only something that we could dream of, right? World of Warcraft was a PC game. And growing up, my parents specifically forbid me from playing PC games after I ruined the family computer by playing Diablo 2. So while all my friends were playing World of Warcraft, I could not join them. And it left Kid Ray, Little Ray, Mini Ray, I don't know, whatever, however you want to refer to my childhood self, it left me begging for a console version of World of Warcraft. But it's like, how much more time do they have? This game is already 20 years old. And while they're discussing it internally at Blizzard and at Microsoft, that doesn't mean that there's any significant progress on a console version of World of Warcraft. And when they finally come out with it, is anyone going to be interested in it at all? Like, this game is 20 years old, okay? And over that time, multiple MMOs and traditionally PC-only games have made their way over to Xbox. Games like Elder Scrolls Online, we got Fallout 76, we got Black Desert Online, we got Final Fantasy 14. And it's like, damn, by the time that they finally get around to making a console version of World of Warcraft, is there even going to be an Xbox version of the game anymore? A lot of people are talking, they're thinking that next generation Xbox will go with like mini PCs versus like an actual Xbox. So is that when it's going to come to console? Like, it's not going to be an Xbox version. It's going to be the PC version that you're able to play on the next gen Xbox or on the handheld one. It's like, what's going on? Y'all already brought over and made a console version of Diablo for Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. And yes, I get it. The controls, the combat of that game, totally different and lend themselves they fit naturally on a controller versus World of Warcraft. I don't know anything about it. Apparently controller support came to the game a couple of years ago, but I don't know exactly how it plays or if it would translate well to console. But if you're hyping up a console Xbox version of World of Warcraft, well, you can't expect people to wait around for it forever. You got to get moving on it. But although we might be waiting who knows how long for the Xbox version of World of Warcraft, you'll only have to wait a few days for these games to be added to Game Pass. The Game Pass lineup for the second half of April has been announced, and it includes games like Orcs Must Die, NHL 2024, Euden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, Another Crab's Treasure, Manor Lords, and Have a Nice Death. Now, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Y'all know I always try to keep it real with y'all. The only game that I care about in this list is Manor Lords, and it's not coming to Xbox. It's only going to be on PC Game Pass. But they did say that this game, shortly after the PC version was released, was going to get an Xbox console version. And I assume whenever that happens, it's going to be added to console Game Pass. It's also not an official release. It is technically a day one game preview. It's currently the most wishlisted game on Steam, but if you have Game Pass, whether PC or Game Pass Ultimate, you'll get to play it as part of your subscription. Now, to be fair, the Xbox version, the Windows versions of these games Very rarely, if ever, are they better than the Steam versions. But I don't care, especially because it's a game preview. I do not mind at all playing this game through PC Game Pass. This game looks like Age of Empires on crack, but it also gives me kind of shades of Mountain Blade a little bit. I like how much detail that you can glean from, especially like NPCs on the map and specific military units, by how far you can zoom in. Age of Empires, you can zoom in to a certain degree, but still the people, like your little villagers and your workers and your military units, they just seem like tools, like they're a means to an end. Don't get me wrong, I love my NPCs on Age of Empires. Freaking make a Man-at-Arms and he pops up and he's like, Man-at-Artemis. But at least from the trailer, I'm hoping that my little villagers, my NPCs, my military units, that I develop some sort of relationship with them. And I'm kind of getting those vibes from the trailer because it's like, oh, you can kind of see them going about their day and fighting in formation as you zoom in on the map. Either way, I'm excited for this game to come out on the 26th. And then, damn, it's already going to be May in just a couple of weeks. And then that's when Hellblade 2 comes out. Whew, it's gonna be a good summer, I feel like. You know what does not sound dope to me, and it's something that I hope Xbox in the future again stops doing, is this Xbox credit card that's available as of today in the United States. It's a card that's issued by Barclays, and it's got no annual fee. That's pretty good. Got off to a good start, I guess. You get 5 times the points on any purchase made on the Microsoft Store. 3 times the points for any streaming services you use, like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Spotify. 3 times any purchases through dining delivery services like DoorDash and Grubhub, and then just single points on everyday purchases. Now, guys, there are many Xbox products that I would recommend, many Xbox partnerships that I think are cool. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. If you're applying maybe for like the memes, like you're doing it for the memes, bro, uh, more power to you. Who am I to tell you how to spend your money and how to handle your finances? But I just don't know if this is worth it, honestly, because the language, and the last time I read about this, and it seems that way in this kind of page on Xbox.com, it seems that you can only redeem the points on Xbox through the Microsoft Store for other games and accessories and things like that. Yeah, it says right here, redeem points on games, add-ons, a controller or console, pre-orders, Xbox gift cards, the first month of your Xbox Game Pass membership, and more. Yeah, so you can only use the points that you accrue on this card for more games. Now, first of all, you're going to have to buy a lot of stuff through the Microsoft Store in order for this to even be worth it. For me, probably not going to be worth it because I do buy games on Xbox, but I play a lot of them through Game Pass. I get a lot of codes sent to me for reviews. So it would probably take me a while to accumulate any type of points. Okay, it says 5,000 points equals $50. So right here, like typical game is $70 times 50. That's 350 points. I would have to spend, God, how much to get $50 if I would have to spend, I would have to buy 14 games before I saw that $50 in points. It also says that if you get enough points, if you spend enough money, you can get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions, but not for you, though. Only if you've never had Xbox Game Pass at all. And if you do already have it, then you can give it to a friend. I'm like, why can't I use that for myself? Like, I'm the one that applied for the credit card, and I'm churning all these points and stuff. Why can't I use it for myself? Right, and the fine print, I can't believe this. It says the Game Pass Ultimate offer is valid for new members who have not paid Xbox Game Pass, Ultimate PC Game Pass, or Game Pass for console subscription. If you've previously had a trial membership to one of these subscriptions, then you're still eligible to redeem this offer. Like, this is too weird and segmented. The perks are like not nearly good enough for me to spring for this card. So yeah, Xbox should not focus on credit cards or any sort of financial institution, loans, whatever. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. If you've made it this far, consider subscribing if you like my content, if you like Xbox, whatever. This may or may not be like the last batch of videos that I do in this space. Me and my wife, we actually signed the lease to a new apartment. We're super excited about it. and I'm gonna have like my own little like hangout studio space. Hope to show the new setup soon. Again, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.